Josh from Contrast Security's Solution Architecture here. In this video, we're going to cover security controls. A security control is a method in your code which ensures that data passing through it is safe to use in your application. Contrast Security will trust information that has passed through a security control it knows about. Right out of the box, Contrast Security monitors many methods from third-party libraries to determine whether or not a data flow is safe. In some cases, however, your organization may choose to build your own security control. In those cases, you can teach Contrast Security to account for your custom method so that it will report more accurate results. There are two types of security controls one may add: an input validator or a sanitizer. An input validator is a method which accepts user input and takes corrective action if it receives unsafe data. It does not change the input data. Alternatively, a sanitizer is a method which cleans the data passed to it, rendering the data safe for consumption. It actively changes the input if the method determines that it is unsafe. So let's see this in action. In this browser, we're looking at Ticketbook, a purposely insecure application. On this page, we see the text is empty and the last line appears to be incomplete. So let's add the words security control and click the submit button and see that the last line has changed, just like you intended. But Contrast Security doesn't know that. Looking at the application in Team Server, we enter into the vulnerabilities and see a cross-site scripting vulnerability. Going into the details, we see that there is an interesting security event that occurred on this data. Well, that's because we forgot to go and register the validator. That's the ticket. Let's add a security control. Well, we can call it com.acme.ticketbook.validator is valid, and we'll register it as an input validator. The language is Java, and we'll make sure in the API to put an asterisk next to the argument that we are looking to control. Next, we can choose which rules it's applicable to. In this case, we're going to say all rules, and click Save. Next, we're going to mark this vulnerability as remediated so that the vulnerability is considered closed unless it shows up again. Now, when we head back to our vulnerabilities, we'll see that we have one open vulnerability and the other one is marked remediated. Looking at only the open vulnerabilities, let's head back to Ticketbook and we're going to change the text to "This has changed." Before we click Submit, let's take a break and allow the security control to be registered by the agent. Okay, now that the security control has had a moment to take effect, let's go and submit the text "This has changed." We'll see that the text has changed. And when we head back into the application and look at the vulnerabilities inside of Ticketbook, it appears that, well, we have two vulnerabilities, but one of them has been marked remediated. That vulnerability wasn't found because of the security control. So, happy day! This vulnerability has not been triggered. We have no trigger warnings. So now let's go and look at all of our security controls by going to the top right and clicking on your name, then clicking into Policy Management, and finally Security Controls. We can see our security control, make sure that it's enabled, make any changes necessary, and move on from there. So, I hope that this has been useful. Information on how you can recreate and research what we have covered is available in the description of this video. Happy coding and stay safe.